So Sawyer Robertson, is he the guy? Is he the one who's going to be under center or more likely in the shotgun for Baylor's first snap against Tarleton State in 2024? Your guess is as good as mine. What ends up being basically a trade with Mississippi State. Sawyer Robertson comes in last offseason. Blake Shapen heads out there this offseason. He is certainly the incumbent right now. Right now, it's him and it's RJ Martinez. And the only offer that we've heard about that Baylor sent out to a quarterback in the transfer portal as of the time of recording, Sunday, December 10th, is Matthew Saluka from Holy Cross. Now, while I am intrigued by that prospect, I don't know that he comes in and is the starting quarterback. He'll be pretty good, though, no matter where he goes. So is Sawyer Robertson the guy? If I had asked you that question a month ago, you would have said, good Lord, I hope not, because of what you saw from him in the first 3 games that he played in the 2023 season. But after that West Virginia game, albeit a heartbreaking defeat, you might say, maybe this is the guy, and maybe we'll be all right. And I think that's probably the way to look at it. Right now, is he your guy? If the season started tomorrow, yes, he is. But we got a lot of time. But he did show some impressive things in that last game. He was, I think, 17 for 19 in that game. He rushed for 33 in that game. He threw for over 200 yards in that, which I know is not, setting the world on fire. But for him and his struggles early in the season, that was pretty good. Threw a touchdown in that game as well. And so the numbers don't jump off the page at you, but what you saw in late August, early September versus what you saw at the end of November was a big difference. And what you saw in both stretches was the ability to throw an accurate deep ball. I think that was a 35-yard touchdown pass he had to Keytron Jackson in the West Virginia game. But even a couple ones that they dropped, both in that game and early on in the season, he can lay it in the bucket, man. That is very much a quarterback that you would have saw on the recruiting trail for Art Briles and Jeff Lebby and Kendall Briles 10 years ago. He would absolutely fit into that style of offense. And let's not forget, he started at Mississippi State because he was recruited by the late Mike Leach. So he was air raid all the way. And I've even seen some comments this week that, he can't get the ball down there. He's tall, but he's slender. I'm like, can't get the ball down there. Threw for 12,000 yards in high school as a 4-star prospect. I know high school is high school, but not just everyone just throws for 12,000 yards. Yeah, that would be like 4,000 a year based off his starts. 12,000 yards, man. I mean, this kid can sling it. Now, it's been a hiccup to start his college career. Sure, he's 1 year at Mississippi State, and then the guy that recruited him dies unexpectedly, and he hits the transfer portal. He comes to a place that had some people scratching their heads, some people that knew him, because he goes from an air raid to a wide zone offense, which absolutely does not fit his skill set. And in the 3 games that he replaces Blake Shapen early in the season, he clearly gets hurt. Gets an ankle injury. We saw it, I believe, in the Utah game. Saw a play that might have done that to him, and he was not quite the same after that. And so this kid just hasn't been able to really get off the ground yet in his college career. In fact, the closest that he came was that game against West Virginia. But there is nothing from me that says he can't be the guy. Again, looking at the offenses he ran in high school and how effective it was, he is built for the spread offense. And that is exactly what Jake Spavital is bringing to you. The kind of the things we talked about with Lebby. It's not the same offense, for sure not. But the tempo and the spread you out to make you defend every blade of grass, looking at those hot reads, those first options, that is not something they have had the last couple of years. As basic as it seems for the rest of college football, Baylor did not have that the last 3 seasons. And the first season it worked, but they haven't had that style of offense. They've done the wide zone, run it down your throat as much as we possibly can. And only Baylor and Iowa ran that style of offense this season. And you saw how well it worked out for Baylor at 3-9, and weirdly how well it worked out for Iowa at 10-3. Oh wait, but they had one of the absolute worst offenses in the entire nation. So Sawyer Robertson, who was watching Cal film the week that Spav was hired, he's got to be doing backflips, man. He's got to be doing backflips looking at what this style of offense they could be running. And again, I said this in the first segment, but I do believe Baylor's going into the portal for a quarterback. They have to. Got to get a third scholarship guy on the roster. One who's taken a snap, because Nate Bennett will come in. He'll be a scholarship guy. But one who's taken a snap in college football. You got to bring another one of those guys in. I would suspect it being like a grad transfer guy, but I don't know if Baylor's in the position to be caught up in saying, oh, well, it's got to be a grad transfer. It's got to be someone who's played 3 or 4 years, not necessarily as a starter. But I don't think they'll do that. I think if they see someone who has a bunch of potential and a bunch of talent, but hasn't necessarily gotten the snaps, like Sawyer Robertson last year, I don't think they'll turn away from that. But that makes it interesting in terms of, again, the guy they offered, Matthew Sluka, who everyone's like, Holy Cross, FCS, no way. Well, A, Baylor was 3-9. Beggars can't really be choosers. And B, some of the best programs in the country are going after this kid. And C, he's a 3-year starter, 3 mega productive years, conference player of the year, FCS semifinals last season. The kid can play, and he's got plenty of experience. So that to say, I think they're more likely to bring in someone like that, maybe at the FBS level too, more so than I think they will be able to bring it, or will be bringing in someone like a Sawyer Robertson, who has a bunch of potential but hasn't played a lot. The name that keeps popping into my head for you Baylor fans from 5 or 6 years ago now, Jalen McClendon from NC State, or New Solomon from Arizona. Hopefully better than those guys, especially Anu, but one of those kinds of guys, a grad transfer type of quarterback to come in. But right now, if the season starts tomorrow, I think Spavital can work around Sawyer Robertson and whatever deficiencies he has. I mentioned one of the great things I love about Spavital and his time at Cal last season was how he adjusted with the personnel he was given. There's still problems in outside receiver. The whole offensive line is still a problem, like not just one or two. The whole line is still an issue. But I think with the skill position guys they have, with the speed they have in the backfield, and with Sawyer Robertson's arm, Spavital can make something work out of that. That said, you still got to go get some pieces in the portal. Can't stress that one enough.